Hi, I'm Dan and I'm a cinematographer. However, I'm currently directing DPX Films, but we're just a local media startup and we're just building our presence at the moment and building our client base.
So, could you tell me, how did you start this career?
I just started at school really. I've always been very into films. I have a very good film knowledge, and then that's just kind of where my interest grew really. So that's where I went on to college, did film studies, media diplomas, stuff like that. Going from there in a more experimental art background, I went to tried out a few different film schools, some of the best ones in the country, and then I ended up in London in the end because apparently Ravensbourne had the best employment rate into industry. So I ended up there for a few years.
Did you take inspiration from someone?
Well, I kind of found when I left uni that I didn't know where to go about getting work, and I'd already had a bit of experience, and there was running jobs I could have done, but once again I didn't feel very confident. But also I felt like if there was no work, rather than complaining about it, I'd rather create work for myself in that industry. And I think the digital media industry is very innovative and upcoming. Therefore, if you kind of start to make your place in it, early on, you're going to gradually carve out your own career. Therefore, I thought by making my own company and finding my own niche and my own market, I could kind of find my own place within the industry, and coming from more of a place of strength, I could therefore look to hitting up the festival scene, maybe go down the feature film route eventually.
So why did you choose to be a media professional?
I came across another professional at one point, my current business partner Paul, and he kind of took me under his wing at that point because I was getting a little bit of stick from a couple of my clients. It all started at a gym because it was the best free weights gym in the south of England called Samson's Gym, and I was doing them a gym video, and he had filmed the previous video for the company. So when I completed that video, he saw it and he thought I was really good and he saw potential in me. So what he proposed to me at one point was he put the branding together, and he said, if you come and work with me, I'll have your back. If you need anything, I'm here to help you with it. And then he put DPX Films actually stands for Dan Paul Crossover, and it's also a film format as well, so it's all kind of relevant to the same thing. And that's how we've kind of come together.
Before you started this career, where did you get your work experience from?
Well, my first bit of experience was at school when I started in set design a little bit. I did 2 weeks of Handmade Productions. They're the guys who made the Art Attack sets and stuff like that. So I did 2 weeks there just because it was relevant to film. And then going on to uni, I made lots of short films with my friends, stuff like that. I didn't have a whole ton of experience in industry. One of my friends is a sound designer at ITV Studios, so he got me a few shoots on short films and stuff like that, working with the kids from Outnumbered and stuff like that, and a couple of short films. I did a piece, a music video for UKF Dubstep, which is eternal on me, but it was mostly a lot of freelance work while at uni.
How could you describe your typical day?
I don't really have a typical day in this industry. I mean, everything is different, which is nice. It's always an adventure, one day you might be shooting at the top of the Swiss French Alps, filming a snowboarding film with the drone. Another day you might be in Nigeria, filming in a music festival in the middle of a really crazy area.
Could you tell me about your favorite project as a film and a video editor?
Well, probably one of my favourite pieces of work was something for a Japanese performance garage that I just set up in London. And I'd been talking to the head of the company for a couple of years because previously to that I was filming motorhome adverts professionally for the biggest company in the country for motorhome and caravan sales. So that's where I learnt to fly a drone, and that's where I started doing car adverts and stuff like that. And then that kind of led me to him, which was another car contact. So it was kind of selling what they were doing. They were souping up fast Japanese cars and stuff like that, making cars that had never been made before, the fastest Supra in the world and so on. So that was probably one of my proudest, one of the films I was most proud of.
Could you say the positive, like the highlights and the benefits, and the negative aspects on this career?
I mean, the negative aspects are probably that sometimes you don't know what the next project is that you're going to be working on. You know, you're always going to have to hustle and keep everything up to date in terms of your show reel, your online presence, your networking presence as well at events and film festivals, if that's the way you're going with things, unless you're going for a more corporate commercial business. Then maybe you want to keep in the loop more with PR companies, advertising companies that are going to, you know, outsource work to you as an advertising company, and you can be their production team. It really depends, because if not, you're going to be having to work a day job or an evening job just to keep things, you know, ticking by. A lot of people, you know, if once they're at the peak of their careers, all they need is a job or two a year, and that's good to keep them going. But, you know, a lot of people like to work hard, and even if they're doing well, you know, reinvest that straight into the business.
So can I ask you, what do you like the most about your job?
I like to get involved, I like to get my hands on a project, and I also have a very visual mind, so when I think about things, a lot of the time I think in imagery, so I just love visualizing a sequence, seeing something that works and just trying to take it to the next level, you know, being really dynamic with camera movements, you know, setting up projects that are going to have a really nice outcome at the end of the day. I like to keep my clients really happy, and not only that, I like to be proud of my work.
Any practical advice that you would give someone who is thinking following this career?
I think the more experience you have, the better all-round professional you're going to be, because all experience is going to be something that's in your arsenal of tools at the end of the day. It's always good to have a strong portfolio. At the end of the day, it is an industry of collaboration, so we're all here to look after each other, really. So, you know, the more we help each other, the better our projects become. And, you know, the bigger the film set, the more people are going to be involved. It's always good to have a good set of people around you. You know, just keep making the work and doing it to a high standard. And that's why my motto at DPX is when quality matters, because every piece of work, even if it's a low budget, I like to put my all into it and just make it look as professional as possible. Every time you do something, you should always try and strive for better.
Daniel, thank you very much for being a part of this interview.